It's been a while since I talked about my favorite hair, skin, and nail supplement. If you haven't heard me talk about Well Bell before, please go to my highlight on my Instagram titled Well Bell because my before and afters are absolutely insane. I started taking Well Bell a few years ago after feeling at my lowest. I was so insecure, my hair wouldn't grow, it was damaged, overprocessed, and my skin was definitely not at its best. I feel like I tried everything, and I swear I'm now taking a youth pill. Because when you see my before picture, you're going to scream. I look 10 years older in my before picture, and I now have healthy, long, luscious hair, and my skin is thriving. Every time I get a facial, my makeup done, or even go to the hair salon, I'm always getting compliments when before my stylists were yelling at me over the state of my hair and skin. They also have a men's line that I just put my stepdad on, and he's loving it so far. He's about 2 months in, which is when the magic starts happening. So he's finally starting to see results, and I'm so excited for him. If you want to try it out for yourself, head to wellbell.com. That's WELLBEL.com. And at checkout, type in code Veronica10 for 10% off your order. That's code Veronica10, VERONICA10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Code Veronica10, VERONICA10 for 10% off at checkout. Hello, and welcome back to Martinis and Bikinis. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and we have a really juicy episode today. I am so excited for you to hear this one because I had on the amazing and fabulous Marin Haugo. If you don't know Marin, you may remember her from her 28 dates in 28 days that she did last February. I know. It sounds exhausting. She went extremely viral for the challenge and basically orchestrated her own version of The Bachelorette here in New York City. Since the challenge, Marin has started a luxury matchmaking service called Mara Dating Club, started a podcast, she published a book, and she found love. I figured it would be really fun to bring her on and share all of her updates since the challenge, how to date intentionally, dating ins and outs, age gaps, friends to lovers, and we even swapped some dating stories. So, without further ado, my little teenies, please welcome Marin Haugo to Martinis and Bikinis. Hello, and welcome to Martinis and Bikinis, the podcast for everything under the sun. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and I am here to help you navigate your 20s through all things lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. So, if you're ready, let's dive into today's episode. Marin, welcome to Martinis and Bikinis.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Me too.
And we have our espresso martini. So I'm going to cheers you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is good. Espresso martinis on a Monday.
It kind of makes sense.
It does. It's my life.
It's been a long day.
Yep.
The eclipse, however you say.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's running around. Everybody's stressed because I feel like this is some sort of like universal thing. I've been like seeing a lot of things on my TikTok algorithm about
what?
Like how you shouldn't be manifesting today and how this is a time for things that are truly meant for you.
Oh, really?
To your life. Yeah.
I heard that if your marriage or relationship survives an eclipse, it means something. Because apparently they're tough on relationships. I don't know why. But I heard that.
I've been seeing a lot about that. I'm
Really?
really in tune with the universe
And
angel
astrology.
numbers and astrology
Me too.
right now.
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I feel like it's really delivered to like an abundant mindset for me. I don't know why, but it's been fun.
That's a fun journey to go on.
I feel really woo-woo, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the process. But I want to hear more about you and less about my woo-woo-ness. But I always like to start these with the roots. So just more about you, where you're from, maybe some things people don't know about you. Just feel free to like tell us all the tea.
I mean, I'm Marin. I went on 28 dates last February. That's kind of how I had my rise to fame. I don't know if that's what people say.
Mm-hmm.
I became relevant from that. I'm a matchmaker now. I'm originally from Minnesota. I moved to New York when I was 29 after a horrible breakup. And that's one thing that I love about my message is that I'm kind of a late bloomer in a sense, but it just goes to show that you can change your life at any point in time because I've been in New York now for 3 years and I feel like I've taken this place by storm. Just like being here for 3 years and I already have my own company. I have a podcast. I have a brand. And so It's never too late. You can be 32. I just found love. Now I'm just rambling. Like, is this what you wanted?
No, these are all amazing things.
Okay.
I love that you moved to New York after a breakup because I have some friends that are currently moving to New York right now after breakups that were these long-term relationships where they thought they were getting married and setting the foundation for this life together.
Yep.
And I love just the free spiritedness of moving here and starting over. And I truly feel like whenever you're able to come here and do really, really cool things like you're doing, it's probably such a wake up call. Like, oh my God, like this is why all of that happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I believe I trust the process. I believe in the universe too. I'm like a little bit woo woo. And yeah. And it's cool for me too, because so many people think like, oh, your prime is 30. And if you're past your prime, like you might as well just like go be single and eat ice cream. And I love that. Like it happened a little bit later for me. And now I'm like super happy and in love. And it just goes to show like, it can happen at any time.
Yeah.
We're still supposed to be talking about my background and I'm like jumping straight to my relationship.
I
what
love
else
that.
do you want to know about me?
Well, it's funny that you're talking about your relationship because I just listened to your podcast episode that you did with Harrison, your boyfriend.
Yep.
So you did 28 dates in February.
Yep.
And when did you guys meet?
We met in August of this past year, 2023. He DM'd me. He has a show called Updating. And he wanted me to come on his show because he found me on TikTok through my 28 dates in February. He was casting. I was like, hey, if you come on my podcast, I'll think about coming on your show. I wasn't going to go on his show, but I really wanted him to come on my podcast. He came on my podcast. We became fast friends. And then like 3 months later, he kissed me on New Year's Eve. And we've been dating ever since. And now we're in love.
I love it. And I was waiting to tell you this, but I recently had a friend that was on Updating.
Oh, really?
And it was the one with the Stallone sisters.
Was it Charlie?
No, it was Ed.
Oh, Ed is your friend. Wait, Ed was like a crowd favorite. Didn't he go out with Sophie?
Yeah, I think so. Like at the end, he like swooped her up. It was crazy.
What happened with Ed and Sophie? What's the tea?
I kind of want him to come on and
debrief. Okay, let's hear.
Debrief. Yeah. But yeah, no, he loved the show. Had so much fun. And that was like the first one that I've watched fully.
Yep.
And I love the structure of it, like what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
fun.
It just seems like a fun experimental way to date.
Yep.
If you just are looking for something new to try out.
Totally.
And I think it's cool that you guys are doing, I wouldn't say like similar things, but you guys are in the same realm.
We're in parallel universes because in a way we're both matchmakers.
Yeah.
His show has a lower success rate of matches.
Really?
But it's more entertaining. Well, it's updating, people go on for various reasons.
Yeah.
But I think the core of what we're doing is very similar, which is fun.
Yeah. The Charlie guy was really cute though.
I can introduce you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Love Charlie. Yeah. He actually came to one of my singles mixers and
no way.
It's a small world. In New York, you just start meeting people. Like you meet friends of friends and things come together quickly.
It's really funny because I've only been here since July and I've had the weirdest experiences of just running into people or meeting a friend who is also friends with like my best friend from who knows where. It's it really is a small world. And I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, is it a small world or are we just getting old?
That's a good question. I think it's small.
I think
Manhattan is smaller than people think.
It's a small island. Yeah. So I love how you and Harrison went from friends to lovers.
Yes.
So I know that that's something that you are really advocating for right now.
I am.
Yeah. So tell us more about that because I know you weren't always like that. Is that correct?
That's correct. I used to be like, don't date your friends, like don't ruin the friendship. And then this winter, I actually predicted, I was like, the 2024 dating trend that's going to happen this year is you're going to start to date your friends. This was before I even knew Harrison liked me like that. I don't know why. Maybe I had a premonition or something. But yeah, he and I had a foundation. We had we knew each other really well. And then we just had to kiss and find out that we actually had chemistry. But I think at the end of the day, what dating is you're looking for a best friend, someone you can really build a life with. Of course, sexual chemistry and all of that other stuff is important too. And we later found out we had it. But we really had a core understanding of each other and we really liked each other. It wasn't just about the lust. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. And I also think it kind of takes all the games out of dating.
It did.
Because you feel comfortable around this person.
Yep.
You're not afraid to be yourself. There's not all these just weird stigmas and rules that you have to follow.
True.
And I feel like you're not as scared.
I agree.
I was talking to a friend yesterday and she was asking me what to respond to something that this guy messaged her. And it made me think, why are we so scared of communication in like the early stages? It's a funny thing that I think everybody has experienced.
I think it's because everyone's anxious and avoidant.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot less secure people out there on the market. And so everything feels like a game.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm having an attachment theory expert on the
talk
podcast.
about that. Yeah.
Because I recently found out that I'm disorganized attachment.
That's what I had to.
Really?
So you start out avoidant and then you become anxious once you like them. Is that it?
I push them away.
It's
like I've been there.
It's tricky. But here's the thing, like the way to heal your attachment style is to get into a healthy relationship with somebody secure.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because I definitely think our attachment styles change.
I do.
As time goes on.
As well. Yep.
But it's interesting to see how I've been in certain relationships and then my healthier relationships, like how my attachment style has been, or if I push them away, et cetera, et cetera.
I've noticed a lot of avoidant women in New York recently because as a matchmaker, I'll set up clients with amazing matches. And I've noticed that a lot of, because you always think of men being the avoidant. You think of the stereotypical Mr. Big, who was the classic avoidant guy. You know, kind of like that aloof F-boy energy that everyone's so attracted to, the bad boy. And what I've noticed recently is a flip where there's a lot more anxious men and a lot more avoidant women, which is interesting.
That is interesting. I think there's a lot of powerful women here.
I agree.
And I also think that sometimes men can be intimidated by that.
Which I like.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like maybe you should be.
Exactly. But I love that you mentioned Mr. Big because I know that you did your 28 days of dating because you were inspired by walking past Carrie Bradshaw's stoop and you were just had this miraculous idea to do 28 days of dating in February, which I think is so cool and honestly so tough.
Thank you.
How did you manage to do that? Because it seems exhausting.
It was.
Was it with the same people for some of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just 28 dates. It wasn't 28 dates it wasn't 28 first dates.
I would forget everyone's name.
No, I mean, it did get a little confusing, but the cool thing about the whole thing was that I had so much momentum behind me.
Right.
And it became instantly viral. Even though I was exhausted, there was so much excitement because I felt at like one moment all of New York was behind me. Obviously, not all of New York was behind me, but there was a lot of like traction with it. And I was
your community.
I had a community that I was growing and a following I was growing. And then I was featured in Bustle and Bloomberg. And so it had a lot of eyes on it. And I think that carried me through, if that makes sense.
For sure. I mean, it's probably just so reassuring that what you're doing is inspiring people or helping people in this realm. So I think my biggest question is, were there any dates that you went on that maybe you wouldn't have gone on if it wasn't for this challenge that you presented?
1000%.
That you were surprised by?
Okay.
Like, did you go on a date with somebody just for the sake of the challenge and then you ultimately were like a little bit surprised by them on the date or towards the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes and yes. Good surprise, like in a way, but like there was a person who I went on a date with and then he turned out to be married or not married. I don't know for sure if he's married, but in a relationship. I always say married because it sounds juicier. But I never confirmed it. You know what I mean? I didn't like hire a PI or whatever. But he actually was somebody who I would not have normally gone for, but I was the most obsessed with. And that's why I'm like, yeah, like use the pictures and the dating app to an extent, but also be open-minded. Like go for that guy that you wouldn't always swipe on or go on a date with, but just like try it out.
Yeah.
See what could happen.
I recently saw, I think it was a TikTok or something.
Yeah.
But it was of Joey, the Bachelor. And it was his old dating app profile picture. And everyone was like, there's no way I would have swiped right.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just that bad.
It just wasn't a super flattering photo. I mean, it's fine. But like,
he's pretty cute.
Yeah. I guess compared to what you see on TV, it was a little different.
Okay.
And I think that just started to make me think, Oh my gosh. There's probably so many people that I have not swiped on dating apps that are actually cute in person or have a great personality.
Totally.
Or X, Y, and Z. So,
I mean, the pictures can only get you so far. And I also think that like a lot of guys don't take the best photos or they don't choose the best photos. As a dating matchmaker and dating coach, I review people's dating app profiles all the time. And a lot of men are clients of mine. And I am basically making them completely start their dating app profiles over. I'm throwing away all of their photos. They get a little offended, but it's tough love.
It's your job.
It's my job.
You're consulting.
I'm trying to get them on dates with the girls that they actually want to date.
Exactly.
And I'm like, we need to start over.
For sure. I noticed that whenever you have prospects, they always state what ages that they're looking for. And I also noticed in your hot or not list or in and outs of dating trends in 2024, major age gap was out.
Yeah, I don't like big age gaps.
Yeah, that's
They've
interesting.
studied it and they've found that the closer in age you are, the higher the probability that your relationship is successful.
Do you think it's because you have more in common? Or
I do.
Yeah.
I think like you're in the same like life stage, you're in the same cultural zeitgeist, you've grown up knowing the same things.
True.
And you have like the same timeline. I just think it makes the most sense to date within your cohort.
That's so interesting.
And some people might hate that. Like some women love older men, some men love younger women, some women love younger men. But it's like I've seen so many horror stories of especially women wasting their time on younger men. And then when they're ready to get married, the guy is like, nope. And he'll start over and not have a problem. And then the woman's kind of left hanging and she's in her mid-30s.
It's interesting because my dad was 13 years older.
Okay.
My stepdad is 11 years younger.
Stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of love your mom. Here's the thing, but there are no hard and fast rules.
Yeah.
Everything I say, like, take it with a grain of salt. This is just the trends I'm seeing. I think it's probably like quote unquote the safest to date within your own age.
Yeah. Well, she's also in a different generation. I feel like our experience of dating is a little bit different because there is social media, there are dating apps, there is a lot of option and availability.
There is.
So I think it's just about like choosing one another at the end of the day, which do you feel like you've had, I guess, like a lens into seeing if people's priorities are actually aligned, like if they're, 'cause I guess if they're coming to you, like obviously they have priorities with dating.
You would think, but still we've had people who have walked through our doors and like they want tall, dark, and handsome and rich, and like their priorities are like majorly around some of those superficial things. And of course, like there has to be some thresholds when it comes to levels of attractiveness, thresholds around income level, of course, all these different things. Height a little bit, but at the end of the day, I always say you need to focus on how they make you feel, what kind of life you can build together. Are they consistent? Are they committing to you? Because if there's a guy who's rich, tall, and like the life of the party and super smart, went to Ivy League, all these things, but he's not even willing to commit to you, then like what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, is he consistent? Is he communicating? Is he loyal? Is he trustworthy? That's like the meat and potatoes. And then the cherry on top or the extra nice to have is like all the other things, which is like tall and all of those other superficial things.
Yeah.
But if they don't have what I just spoke about, then you're wasting your time.
When it comes to paying on dates, were there any times in your 28 days where somebody made you split the bill?
No, I don't split the bill. I don't even offer.
I don't either. I just say thank you and bat my eyes a little bit.
Of course. No, I think that people who offer and then the guy says yes and then they resent it, it's like, don't offer then. If you don't plan on doing it, then just see what he does.
Yeah.
And then if he has the gumption to then ask me to split, then I would.
Right.
Like, you should always be prepared to split. But I'm just such a firm believer that the only people or the only men who really care and pay attention to if you asked, like if you do the gesture of going for your wallet or like offering, are like cheap men. Because men who are generous are going to grab the bill before it even hits the table. Or if they like are doing something else or in the middle of a conversation, they're not gonna like go home after the date and be like, wow, she didn't grab for her purse or she didn't offer. He's not even thinking about it. A cheap man is thinking about it. A generous man is not. And so if you're trying to date a generous man, don't just sit on your hands. Just sit on your hands and say thank you. Be gracious, be kind. But you don't have to do this whole fake reach, fake offer. It just creates a weird energy.
Definitely. Definitely. I have had experiences where people have asked me to split.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And
like
then,
maybe like 1 or 2.
And then what do you do?
I split it
Of
because
course.
they asked, but I did not go out with them again.
Of course.
My friend has this theory. I think it may be like some trend, but there's mommy, baby, daddy. Somebody is one of the 3, or you can be like mommy, rising, like daddy, son.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more.
So I feel like it has to do with like your feminine, your masculine, and maybe like just your sense of like wanting to be taken care of to an extent. So I think that I am daddy, son.
Okay, I love this.
I think I'm daddy, son, baby, rising.
Okay, and then your mommy.
I guess mommy, moon.
Mommy moon. Wait, so daddy, son. So you have daddy energy. That's like your main bread and butter. And then what is...
I think I like secretly prefer to be like taken care of.
Okay, but it's secretly.
Kind of. So I guess that's my moon.
I think then would I be baby, son?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a baby son.
Yeah.
And I just like, if a guy is not willing to be generous with me, like I can't do it. I don't know if it's birth order. I don't know what it is. I'm a 3rd child. I'm like the baby girl in my family.
I am too.
But so you are too.
Yeah.
So I wonder why you have the daddy son.
I don't know. I need to do some more
You need to do some deep work on that. No, I'm just kidding. I just think that you should be able to own like what you want in a relationship.
For sure.
And I'm all about clear communication. Even with my new boyfriend, like we talked about it. It was never an elephant in the room, but I wanted to just discuss it because I don't think that a woman should just never pay. I think that women, when they just never pay for anything, get themselves in big trouble. You know, don't be on one extreme or the other. Let him get dinner, but then you pick up the Ubers, or you grab a coffee or a lunch, or you get him some cookies from his favorite bakery. Don't just be completely like unhelpful, because I think that's like a little too extreme too. And it is giving sugar baby, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think everybody has to like pick up their own slack to some capacity.
Yeah.
And it's a partnership, you know? There's like ways that you can contribute. There's ways they can contribute. And I think just having like that understanding is important in a relationship.
Totally.
It seems like you and Harrison have really good communication.
We do. It's kind of, I've never had such a healthy relationship where nothing's off the table. He talks to me about everything. I talk to him about everything. Even like we've gone to social functions where he's dated a girl that's in the room and I'm about to meet, and vice versa, where like I've been on a date with one of the guys and we tell each other before like we meet them. I think that's also important, because like you never want your partner to feel like they're left in the dark.
Yeah.
We talk about money. We talk about everything.
I love that.
As you should.
I think that's great, because there's been so many situations where I have dated guys and it's taken months for them to ever bring up an ex. And I honestly think it's kind of cool to talk about on a first date.
You do?
Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't think that, but I feel like for me, especially if I don't know any background on this person, if it's somebody that's just a random stranger, I feel like getting that story firsthand from them immediately is almost like, it just relaxes me for some reason.
That's interesting. I used to be more like that, where I would be like, tell me all the tea, tell me the backstory. But then I started to be kind of resentful of it, because I'm like, I'm not your therapist. I don't need to hear everything about your ex. I think that it's a fine line to walk, because if you're constantly talking about somebody's ex, it's like TMI. Like you want to just focus on the two of you in the future you're creating. But also it's like relevant information to know, like what did go wrong in past relationships? Like what do you want to be different in the future? Yeah. So I agree. Like the curious side of me wants to know like every single detail, but I've recently learned to pull that part of me back a little bit and just learn the very basics. Yeah. Because again, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole of always talking about exes.
That's true. And I don't really usually share my experience.
You're just wanting theirs.
Yeah. So
as the interviewer.
Maybe I'm just curious. But I think you're right. It helps me understand their dating patterns and maybe how they are in a relationship.
Yep.
But at the same time, I could be getting a completely different story than, what the other person experienced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why that's something that
what do you usually
feel bitter enjoyment from?
No, I don't know why either. Like it used to make me like a little like jealous though. If the guy was constantly talking about his ex, it made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, are you still obsessed with her? Like, hello, I'm right here. Like, why are we talking about this person?
Exactly.
Like, I used to have guys who would like show me photos of their exes, and I think,
that's too much.
And I think it was a way for them to be like, look how hot of a girl I'm able to pull. You know what I mean? It's like a way to gain confidence. Why else would a guy show you their ex? You know what I mean?
That's so strange that
because he's not going to show you her if she's not cute,
right?
You know what I mean? I think it's a way to be like, look what I did. So silly.
Yeah, and they're like clearly still obsessed with them if that's what they're doing.
Totally. And I've had everything in dating happen to me at different junctures in my life. So
that's like your worst dating story.
Personally, I honestly I just said I've had everything happen to me, but I've had like pretty good nothing that's like a horror story where I'm like telling it at a dinner party. How about you?
Okay. Do you know Joe from First Rounds on Me?
Yeah.
So I had him on the show.
Okay.
And if you guys have not listened to that episode, you need to go listen to it because he had the craziest dating story that I have ever heard in my entire life. My jaw was on the floor. My mom was in the audience and she was cracking up laughing.
I'm dead.
It was ridiculous, but I actually went on their show and I told the same story. It's really not that bad. I've had pretty good dating experiences for the most part. And I've had pretty great relationships, except for a couple. But
of course. I mean,
like my last relationship was amazing. Like so healthy, great guy, just ultimately didn't work out. But there was this one time that I went on a date and he was an athlete, which I think they kind of have a reputation, but I guess it depends on who you're talking to. But we went to dinner and we were talking about business. We actually had a lot in common and we were both really into food and just going to different restaurants. And I had a lot of connections in DC with different restaurants and people. And I think I was giving him a lot of ideas and which I was like appreciative that he was receptive of it. But he kept getting on his phone and sending voice memos to people.
Stop.
But they would be like 12-minute long voice memos. And I'm just sitting there not getting my phone out. That's a big no-no for me. Twiddling my thumbs, looking around. I wasn't even like really listening to what he was saying. But it happened like 3 or 4 times. And I almost got up and left.
Was he like a professional athlete?
Yeah.
So I feel like whenever, by the way, like not all professional athletes are like this. But I think whenever it's somebody who's like maybe in entertainment or anything that's like very ego driven, I think they think that the world revolves around them. And clearly this guy thought that. It's obnoxious. I once dated a rapper and I feel like the same thing happened with me all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I just find taking your phone out on a date, 1, is just so disrespectful. And 2, to send voice memos when you could just be talking to me and telling this person later on. It was like a whole new form of disrespect that I had never experienced before.
So disrespectful. I have a rule. Don't get your phone out on dates. Also, I was at Gloss Lab the other day and I saw this for like, maybe it was a second date with this, you could tell they were on a date and they were doing like manis or something at Gloss Lab.
I love that.
And I was just sitting there getting my pedicure, watching them the whole time. I had like a front row view and he was going to pay. And then as he was going to pay, she was on the phone. And even though like he was going over to pay, I was like cringing so hard because after he finished paying, he like went back to her and she like didn't wrap up her phone call. And I was just like, this is so rude. Like, just don't be on the phone. Like, just wait till after the date. Then I watched them proceed to go outside and like they just hugged it out. And I was just like dying inside. I don't think that was a good date. Like, you should, like, after getting manicures, you should definitely kiss.
Exactly.
Why are you like, if you're not at the level of kissing, don't get a manicure together.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
It seems really intimate.
It's very intimate. Like, what? I don't know. I hate it. Dating is so awkward sometimes.
Dating is really awkward. But, you know, if this guy would have been like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This was such a great idea. Let me send this really quickly to somebody. I'd maybe be a little bit more understanding. Because I've been on dates with people where they've had to text someone for work or whatever and take out their phone. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I'm totally understanding of that. But this was a whole new level of crazy. But
I hate that for you.
you know, I survived.
I mean, did he at least pay?
He paid.
Okay.
And then asked me out again.
And then did you go?
No.
Because that was a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it happens.
That's really interesting. No, I don't have anything that's... Maybe I'll have to reflect on it a little bit more. But I don't have like a story.
So the people that come to your matchmaking,
Yeah.
is there like a particular demographic of people, or is it people that have like been in marriages before, or is there like some criteria that you kind of see often that people kind of come to you for?
Yeah, so mostly it's professionals. So we mostly work with people who are 28 to 45 who don't necessarily have trouble like getting on a date. You know, if they went on Hinge or something, they could get on a date. It's more so they just don't have time.
I see.
And they want to outsource their love life. And then that's where we come in. Some people, they do have time, but they just like need some help with the strategy, or they're on the dating apps, but they're not able to get the quality. And then they come to us. It's both, it's like 50-50 men and women. It's crazy. We've had so many Yale grads recently. And it's like, what is it about Yale?
I need to get involved with this.
No, totally.
I'm like the girls that are like Ivy League.
No, totally. Yeah, I know. People love the Ivy League in New York, which I get
I think
it.
a lot of people have been in Ivies in New York,
Yeah,
which is
it's a culture
great.
here. We love that for them.
I wasn't.
I wasn't either. But
I
you know
was
what?
too.
But they still come to me though for matchmaking. So doesn't
who's
matter.
winning now?
Just kidding. I'm joking. Lawyers, private equity, like finance, both men and women too. Yeah, people who have disposable income. Obviously, a matchmaker is like a luxury service. But I think at the end of the day, like you should, if you want to prioritize love and dating and you're not being successful the way you're doing it, I think people invest in like going to the doctor, going to the gym, like therapy, like all these different things. But people, I think, are like still a little bit hesitant to invest in their love life. And it's like, if you want the results and it's not, what you're doing is not working, you have to change something. Maybe it's not through us, like that's fine. But I always just tell people like, get help with it.
Yeah,
A third party who's non-biased can be very, very helpful.
for sure. I actually started this new segment called Poor Decisions.
Ooh.
But my last episode, people were asking me dating advice. And I just kind of started thinking about how important it is to have a third party, somebody that doesn't have this biased answer or advice towards your love life. Because if you were to ask your friends or your family about, oh my gosh, like this happened, X, Y, and Z, they're going to give you an opinion based on like their own understanding and like bias towards the situation. So I think it's great that you have this outlet for people to meet, and you know, you give this, I guess they have like prompts of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're able to match make them accordingly, which
Yeah, and I think also like your friends and family, like they probably are drawing their advice from their own anecdotal experience. And so or like maybe like love and dating wasn't hard for them. It just kind of happened for them. And so their advice, even though their intentions are good, it just might not be relevant to you. There's a lot of codependent people, like where people like don't actually want to see their friend get into a relationship because there's some competitiveness too. And so it's nice that like when you decide like I want to actually take control of this for myself, you can just like have this third party. It's confidential. It's very similar to therapy. We're not therapists. Like I actually am trained. I was a therapist for a few years. I forgot to mention that. I got very bored with it. I like the coaching better because I can just be very direct with people and be like, this is what you need to do.
Well, I also feel like a lot of people go to therapy after failed relationships or whenever they're having problems in their relationships.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes they are looking for answers. And the fact
Yep.
that you're able to give them those very abrupt,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes
Blunt.
just blunt answers is a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need to hear it.
I think so too. But I do it in a compassionate way.
For sure.
There are some dating coach horror stories. I have clients who have come from other places where these people have just basically like obliterated them.
Rip
That's
them
not,
to shreds.
yes, that's not my vibe. Like I'm like my ethos is like I'll leave you better than how I found you. Like I come from a place of like kindness, empathy, but also like with peace and love. I like am a little blunt, of course.
Do you feel like a lot of people come to you after failed relationships?
Yeah, I think a lot of people come to me when they're feeling like a little bit panicked.
Okay.
The worst thing you can do is be panicked about your love life. They've studied it. When you're in a state of panic or anger, like your judgment becomes completely shit. So you need to breathe through it. You need to step back. We need to kind of like zoom out, take a breath together, and then come up with a plan to actually like figure out what you need. Panic dating is not it,
No.
but it happens a lot.
For sure. I think you're just going to have to be a magnet.
You do, yes. Going back to the woo-woo, like I'm all about the manifest scene.
I just think that the times when I'm not stressed about dating and I'm not like prioritizing that completely to like the biggest tier that I have in my life, I find that whenever I'm prioritizing my own health and you know, things that I want to educate myself on, the show, my brands, then everything just kind of flows naturally. I think your vibe attracts your tribe.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. We don't chase, we attract.
Exactly. And, you know, there are times in my life where I have chased and it's never worked out for me.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't work when women chase.
No, I actually saw one of your posts about women giving men roses on Hinge.
I say no to that.
I was cracking up laughing.
I forgot what I said, but I said absolutely not.
You said that there's a way for you to see the people that it was giving you, like wanting you to give roses to, if you like reset your app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a whole Hinge hack on my page, but basically dating apps are a for-profit business. And so they're not doing this for charity. No. So they have algorithms. They're dangling the carrot in front of you because they want you to pay. They want you to buy more roses. But men do have a primal need to chase a little bit and feel like they won the prize. It's controversial, but I just truly do believe it. And so as a woman, I don't like the approach of giving a man a rose on Hinge. But women do it, and that's fine. Like, again, everyone has their own methodology. That's just not something I would personally do.
Yeah, I'm not on Hinge, but there have been times where I have been on it and I've seen the rose people and I thought to myself, they are so cute. Why are they not showing me them in my algorithm?
It's called rose jail.
Yeah.
They're in rose jail because you can't access them unless you pay.
Wow.
So there's a reset trick where basically you can say like, I'm unhappy with Hinge. I'm about to quit it. And then Hinge will be like, give us one more chance. So like you have to go into your settings. And then oftentimes people will reset their Hinge. And then all of a sudden it's working again.
So funny. So how did you find the dates that you went on during your 28 days? Was it all kind of random, a variety?
So going back to manifesting, my first 2 dates were from Hinge. The rest were from Instagram. As soon as I went viral, I felt like every man in New York was like, can I please take you on a date? And these were high quality men. I was like, whoa. Like I felt like I was the Bachelorette. It was really cool.
You were New York's Bachelorette.
And I created my own show. I was like, all right, guys.
That's amazing.
Who am I going to pick today?
That is incredible. I feel like Instagram is the new dating app.
Instagram is such a powerful dating app. Technically, that's how I met my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because he slid into my DMs.
That's true. That's true.
We started as friends, but still it ended in love.
Oh. I think it's great that you guys did the show together. You did a recording together and all of your friends and family were like, oh my gosh, sparks were flying.
It's so
and
funny.
neither one of you realized.
We didn't. I don't know. Like I felt during the recording with him, I was so at ease. I was having so much fun. But again, going back to like, I think that if a man's interested in you, he'll let you know.
Yeah.
And he didn't really let me know. And so like, I wasn't like really thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't like thinking about it at all. I was like, oh, he's not interested. Like,
I remember him saying in the show that he was intimidated because he thought that you were out of his league.
Which is the cutest thing.
It's really sweet.
I love that.
And I think that a lot of men run away from women
because they think that they're out of their league.
Mhm.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what the solution is to that.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't think it's just not meant to be, maybe.
Maybe ask him to drinks.
Yeah.
But like with him and I, like I would still like because we were friends, he would invite me to things, but I would also invite him to things. And so it's about like it's not about like having the best pickup line or like telling a guy immediately like, hey, I'm interested. No, it's about having a little bit of finesse, building the relationship slowly, and then seeing if it turns into something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to jump to conclusions right away. Like even if you're at the bar and you want to approach a guy, you don't have to like say, hey, what's up? Like, you're pretty hot. Like, don't do that. Like, just like go up to him and be like, oh, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
Just have like, be a human. Like, be a human first. Have a normal conversation. If it turns into something, great. If it doesn't, just don't have expectations.
Yeah. I remember this one time I saw this cute guy at a bar.
Yep.
And he was really tall. And
we love
I was
that.
really excited about it. And I was thinking to myself, I can't imagine how many girls go up to him and ask him how tall he is, or like anyone in general.
Totally.
So
what was he, like 6'7"?
really tall.
Okay.
And
do you know him?
Do I know him?
Is his name Bobby?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's not in New York.
Okay.
It's in DC.
Okay.
Which we could even get into in a second.
Yeah.
But I walked up to him and I was just like, oh, how's your night going?
I love that.
And he later on told me, you were the first girl that has ever came up to me at a bar and not asked me how tall I am.
I love that.
And I think you just have to like be cool.
I
be normal.
agree. Just say hi.
Act
What's
like
up?
your friends. But that's funny that you thought I was talking about someone in particular.
No, totally. Like I have this one guy who I met through a networking event named Bobby, and he's notorious in the West Village. And I was like,
for being tall.
well, he's 6'7".
Wow.
Charlie's 6'7" too. There's not a lot of them out there.
There's really not. It's kind of like you're seeing a superhero for the first time.
Kind of. I mean, or like an NBA basketball player.
Exactly. But yeah, going back to just being cool, being normal, acting like they're your friend. I think it was like so cute how you and Harrison just kind of like had that kiss and the stars aligned. Everything started to make sense.
Well, the kiss apparently was very premeditated by him.
Okay.
I had no idea it was coming, but he was stressing out about it a lot.
Because you guys were going to Tokyo together, right?
So we booked Tokyo as friends, which is wild.
So unhinged.
And all my friends were like, okay, you're going to Tokyo with him. What's going on? Are you sharing a hotel room? I'm like, no, we're just friends. And then we'd be on the phone and I would be like, because I went to an astrologer who was like, you're going to meet somebody overseas. And so I was like, maybe we'll meet someone cool in Tokyo. Like each of us, like we'll have like romance over there. And he was like going crazy. He was like I like you, but he wasn't telling me. And so, yeah, New Year's Eve came and he apparently like created this whole plan to kiss me at midnight. Midnight came and I was like not gonna kiss him at midnight because we were with his friends. It was a double date, but like I didn't even know it was a double date. And I could tell that they were like, there was a lot of like energy on us, like people were watching or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to like have a first kiss with somebody when there's like too much attention.
You have an audience.
When there's an audience. So I think it's cooler that we like waited and did it later.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think you guys had this solid foundation and it just like set you guys up for success for sure.
Well, it's
so
cool.
How was Tokyo after that?
Tokyo was okay. So basically, he kissed me on New Year's Eve. We went on our next date 2 days later, and then the rest was history. We were like going on dates a couple times per week. The relationship was growing really organically. He asked me to be his girlfriend on Valentine's Day, and then we went to Tokyo 2 weeks later. He told me he loved me in Tokyo. Aww. Like we traveled really well together internationally.
That is like a huge
thing.
I think that if you can travel well with somebody, then you can have a really great relationship. Because I have. Also, I forgot to mention that Archie is here, and I'm so excited.
He's making a celebrity appearance.
He's so cute.
He is cute.
I walked in and I saw him, and I got so excited.
He's a little grungy today, but
It's okay.
We still love
He just wants to be a part of it.
He is.
We need a third.
He's used to the limelight. Yeah. No, but it was a little intimidating because I'm like, what if it doesn't go well? Like, what does this mean for our relationship? Most people wait 2 years to take a trip like that together. We did it after 2 months of dating.
So I don't know if you can relate, but I'm somebody that is constantly traveling. I have a hard time sitting still.
Yep.
So finding somebody that can also do that with me is really important for me. And I think that's actually a really good hack. Maybe the next person that I'm like wanting to get serious about, I just invite them on a trip.
I think so too.
Just like get it all out there.
Totally.
At the beginning.
Because honestly, like so many people think like you need to follow conventions and like wait this long for this, wait that long for that. And it's like, why? Like, why wait? Like, just find out.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think it's better just to do it. Go for it.
I agree. We're going to Tokyo.
Ask one of your guy friends. Do you think any of your guy friends are hot?
You know, yes, but I don't think I want to date them.
Why not? Is it because you are afraid of being vulnerable, or are you really not interested?
I don't feel like our values align.
Oh, like what kind of values?
I think just maybe like career, maybe family. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses.
Maybe.
I'll do some research on my friends.
Dig into it.
I'll do a pros and cons list of everybody.
Yeah.
But I love that you came out. Also, congratulations with your book. It's a 28-day journal.
I should have brought you one. I didn't realize you were single. Maybe I have one in my bag and we'll check afterwards.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Yeah, either way, I'll send you one.
Your book launch looked incredible.
Thank you.
Is that when you hard launched your boyfriend too?
Kind of. Okay, so what do you think about the hard and soft launch?
I don't know, because I have accidentally like soft launched somebody that was not there. So
oh shit.
I love to cook. I make steak dinners all the time for my friends.
Okay.
Wine, the whole 9 yards.
I love that.
So me and my friend from college, she came over. I went to the farmer's market and I just wanted to make steak. I was craving a steak.
Yeah.
So I did like this grass-fed butter and like this whole extravagant thing, natural wine. I was like really into it.
Yeah.
And I posted a photo on my story and she didn't have her nails painted and she was like grabbing something, and I want to say at least 20 people DM me. Oh my gosh, who is that? Oh my gosh, are you dating someone? Oh my God.
I'm dead.
And it was literally my friend Brittany.
You're like, nope, just my friend. I'm not dating her.
Yeah. So I don't know if the soft launch is like even really a thing. I guess if they're like, it's the back of their head or something. I don't know.
So I soft launched him all the time. And like the people who knew. But like I would be like at his show updating and I'd like just post him.
Oh.
But like people, but actually I posted a picture of us from New Year's Eve like 3 days after. And like everyone was like, whoa, is that like what's going on here? Yeah. Because from the photo you can kind of see like it's just two couples. And that was after he kissed me. So some people might call me crazy because I posted it right away.
Well, you guys were always like friends.
But we were friends first. So like to me, I was like, we took this photo before we kissed. So technically we were still friends during this photo. And I liked it and I wanted the memory. And I was like, no matter what happens with us, like I want to keep this on my grid. And then I would just post him. I soft launched him a little bit and everyone knew I was seeing somebody. But nobody knew who it was for sure. And like, of course, there were some hardcore fans who put everything together. But I kind of hard launched him with the podcast.
I love that.
And then, I guess it was the book launch first and then the podcast like 2 days later.
Yeah. But I feel like that was kind of around the same time. So
but it was
like
cool.
a dual hard launch.
It was because it was like I hard launched my book, or I launched my book and then I hard launched my boyfriend. So it was like book and boyfriend.
Book and boyfriend. I love that.
It was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an author now.
I know. How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
I know.
So are you selling on any platforms or are you just selling on your own?
Shopify.
Oh, amazing.
Just Shopify.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 28-day dating reset journal.
Okay.
All of our coaching clients and matchmaking clients, we give them one as well. And people have been loving it because there's like a visualization of like who you want to end up with. It's setting your standards, your priorities. There's a whole exercise around like what makes you a catch. And like we ask that you ask like your friends and your family. But I want people to internalize like I am special. I am unique. I am a catch. Because so many people talk about New York dating and they're like, it's so competitive. Like there's so many people here. There's so many like models, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, there are, but like you should also know that like you're one of one and you have value and that you are a catch. But you have to believe that before you're going to land the dream guy.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that if you can't affirm yourself,
Yes.
then you can't expect anybody to affirm you. So I think it all starts with self. And if you don't have your own self-respect and boundaries and self-appreciation and love, then you're just going to end up with somebody that is either going to mistreat you or not see your value because you can't see it yourself.
I agree.
So I love that. I want to give that to a lot of my friends. I am going to give that to them. So I'm excited to.
No, it's on Shopify again. And like, there's like a whole like how to early dates of dating, how to like not ghost them, when to end it. So it's basically a manual. And then in the back, there is a calendar. I want people to like basically like plan out like, this is when I'm going to go out and be social and meet people in the wild. I have like a rabid dog right now. Anyways, enough about my book. If you want to know what's in there, you have to buy it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's incredible that it's not just women that are using this book.
Yeah, men are using it too.
I was listening to your episode and I heard that men are using it and they're finding it extremely helpful.
Totally.
'Cause I think a lot of men need a reset.
By the way, a lot of men want exactly what women want.
For sure.
And I've noticed there's such a cultural disconnect between men and women right now. And it's crazy because everyone wants the same things, but there's just too many like social media gurus out there who are telling people to play these stupid games. And like going back to earlier when you're like, the communication is so awkward and tense at the beginning and people are like sending screenshots to their friends and no one knows how to just like come together and talk to each other.
Right.
And that's why I made a gender neutral journal because I'm like, everyone needs help and like, let's bring everyone together.
Absolutely.
Because most books are geared towards either men or women. That's strange to me.
Yeah.
Everyone should be reading the same book.
I agree. That's like really powerful.
Yeah.
I recently have been consulting a lot of my straight guy friends on dating.
Yep.
And I don't know how that happened, but I also asked them questions.
Yeah.
It's been really rewarding because I feel like
that.
I have just the inside scoop into the male brain. But
What's been shocking to you to learn?
that
from the
they
men?
overthink the same that we do.
Oh yeah. They're just as anxious and they want love just as much. Yes, there's that like 1% of men who want to just play the field and like have fun. But even today I was on the phone with this really eligible guy, 31, and he was like, my mentor told me you could just go and like have sex with everyone, but he's like, when you're dating a girl, you should only be dating her if you could marry her, because otherwise you're wasting her time and like you're wasting your time and energy too. And I was like, that's actually really powerful. I don't think a lot of people realize like when you're dating, I truly think like you should only date intentionally. Otherwise you are wasting someone's time.
Yeah.
Like you're stealing their time in a way.
For sure.
Sorry, that got really deep.
No, I love that because I also went through a period after my most recent long-term relationship where I wasn't necessarily dating intentionally. And maybe it was just kind of validating to date or see that there was more people out there, even though I wasn't necessarily ready. And it wasn't until like in 2023, like end of 2023, where I was like, I think I'm ready to intentionally date. Like it just kind of hit me. And I think ever since then, I have had way better experiences in the dating world.
Yep.
So I think whenever you go through dating with like an intentional heart,
Yes.
I think those intentional people also will find you.
I agree. And when I say dating intentionally too, like if you're dating casually just because you're like, I'm not in a place to settle down, that is one thing. I'm talking about people who are like getting into long-term situationships with people or getting into relationships with people with no intention of like actually ending up with them.
For sure.
Those are the people who I find very, very problematic.
The people that aren't being honest.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, I don't want to talk about the future, or they're spinning someone's wheels. Those are the people I have a problem with.
Yeah,
so
same.
it's fine to have a casual period of dating where you're exploring and having fun, but you're not actually like saying like, let's be boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right.
You're not actually, unless you have a candid, intentional conversation along the way where you're being honest. But I think there's a lot of like situationships out there that are truly one-sided. And I think that's kind of what F's up the dating pool for everyone.
Definitely. There's a lot of men that, I guess, because of societal pressure and like just throughout the generations, have been taught to, and everybody has to an extent, has been taught to suppress their emotions. But I feel like it's especially real for men because they have to appear masculine and like they don't have emotion. And just, you know, I think it's really special what women have because we have these amazing female friendships where we feel open and ready to talk with our friends about our relationships and dating. For example, 2 days ago, I was at this cafe with like 6 of my friends and we were just talking about dating, like all of our horror stories, but like also some good dates, the people we were interested in, X, Y, and Z. And this therapist was sitting next to us and he was a guy and he chimed into the conversation because he was like, I mentor males on dating. And hearing this perspective and this side of things is giving me a lot of clarity. But at the same time, I'm now realizing that men don't have this and I should start doing male group sessions.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's incredible. But I feel like there is not necessarily a space for men to feel like they can talk about these things openly all the time.
I think men, yes and no, because I know via my boyfriend that him and his friends talk about all these things.
Like, I love that.
They have group chats.
Oh,
and
good.
like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's the men who don't have enough friends.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who struggle. And so my advice to all men and women who are single and dating intentionally, you have to start with having good friends.
Yeah.
Because you need people to go to help support you as you're on this journey.
For sure.
And to have your back. But yeah, I think there's a lot of loneliness with the male population because A, they don't have a ton of friends, and then B, they have no one to talk to when it comes to like romantic relationships.
Yeah.
And it's not as normalized.
I love how you talk about on your page that having friends when you move to a new city or you're dating for the first time out of like a long relationship, having a good group of friends is your first step. Because it's the foundation to just a happy, healthy life is having good people.
Having that community and having that safety net.
Yeah.
Because dating is a very vulnerable thing, emotionally, physically, like in every which way. Sorry, my dog is creating so much.
Archie is the star of the show.
But Archie, it's not your time. It's mom's time. I'm just kidding.
No, I love it.
No, but yeah, start with the friends and get good friends. Be picky with the people you surround yourself with. They say that the 5 people you surround yourself with, that is who you become. And also you have to be the pickiest with your partner. That is the person who's going to either put you on an upward trajectory or a downward spiral. So when it comes to the person that you choose to spend your life with or date, be very picky, have high standards. But again, don't over prioritize the wrong things and under prioritize the right things.
I love that. What a great way to end.
Thank you.
I have one last question for
Yes.
you. If you were to drink a martini in a bikini, where would you be and what would you be drinking?
Okay. I love recently mezcal margarita.
Ooh, I love mezcal.
That's not our martini though. Does it
okay.
I love a Cosmo.
We're just going to put it up in a martini glass, regardless of what it is. So.
Okay.
Cosmo or mezcal margarita.
And I've never been to Miami.
Oh my God.
And
we have a client there now, so you have to go.
Yes. And I've been close to Miami, but I think I need to go to Miami. And I would just go say hi to all my clients because now I have this like big network of Miami people.
I love that. You could just have a big party in Miami.
Totally, like a mixer maybe. Maybe I'm manifesting that. I also want to have a place in Miami someday. I want to be a snowbird. I'm like actively manifesting right now. So.
I am too. Well, wait, we can't be manifesting today.
Oh shit, because it's the eclipse. Wait, can I rewind?
Yeah, rewind.
I don't want a place in Miami. Like,
I hate Miami, actually.
I actually never want to go there, so I take that back.
Fuck Miami.
Yeah, not going there.
It's me all day today, just like literally F this, F that, everything that I want.
Really?
No, just,
Wait.
no, I'm joking.
Okay.
But like,
Well, now it's like I have to
I'm
knock on wood or
anti-manifesting
something.
today.
And then tomorrow we can get back to
Yeah,
it.
we can get back to it.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm gonna be on TikTok all night now.
You know, it's probably one of those coaches that is just spreading a lot of noise.
Totally. That's true.
Yeah, but you know, you can't listen to all of it. So
This was so fun.
yeah,
You're an amazing interviewer. I'm excited to have you in my network now. Like, you're single. Maybe I'll set you up.
that'd be cool.
And I'm definitely giving you a journal.
I am so excited for the journal.
Yay.
I can't wait to just see what unfolds after.
Me too.
But if you want to share, you know, how people can be friends, how they can stay in touch, how they can see what you're doing.
Yep.
Feel free to share any resources.
Yep. So you can find me. I'm at Life of Marin NYC. My podcast is called Life of Marin Podcast. It was formerly Crowdsourcing Love. I just went through a rebrand.
Oh,
and then I'm a matchmaker and co-founder at Mar Dating Club. And come find me. I'd love to work with you in some capacity.
Yes.
Thank
oh my
you.
gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And I just can't wait to see all of your success continue to blossom. And
Thank you. Same with you. You're killing it.
thank you. Well, cheers.
Cheers. I love it.
If you like this episode, please feel free to like, rate, and subscribe to Martinis Bikinis. It's the best way to support the podcast and continue its growth. And I'll love you forever. Bye.
Cute. That's so cute.